Hey guys, in this episode we're going to have a look at a game called Matase. It was developed and published by Magic Quest by a guy named Bob Stevens. He did educational software between 1989 and 1995 and was responsible for some titles that you may have heard of, such as EarthQuest, EarthQuest Explores Ecology, Time Treks, Word City, and this game, Matase. Bob Stevens has done a bunch of different charity kind of work and is currently managing property office rentals in Palo Alto. It's very difficult to find information on this game. Nobody seems to have heard of it. There's no information out on the web. The only references to this particular game are on Bob Stevens' website and on a couple of libraries that supposedly have copies of it in their catalogue. So, how did I come across this game? Well, back when I was in primary school, our library had 4 computers. That's right, 4. And one of the games that they had on there was Matase. The competition was pretty fierce to have the top score, so I played it a lot. So, let's check it out. So, the first thing you'll see is this lovely title screen. Then you'll be informed by a happy little robot that a virus is invading the global math archives, which is apparently a computer somewhere.
It's just a virus has been detected.
Look out, a virus has been detected. And he actually literally ate his way through the cover there. Lovely. So we open the cover and we get to choose whether to start a new game or to restore an old one. Click new mission and enter our name. And here we get to pick the hunger level, which determines how quickly the virus is going to attempt to eat from where he begins to the outside of the level, at which point you lose. Starving is just crazy fast, so I wouldn't do anything above hungry. The next thing is the math data level, which determines the difficulty of the questions. There's a huge gap between Prodigy and Ace, so we'll just do Prodigy for now.
We've got to surround the virus before it can shoot to the outside.
So the aim of the game is to build a wall of little bitbots to prevent the virus from reaching the outside of the map. So you click a chip and click a direction. You get asked a question, you solve it. It places 3 guys there, and he now cannot eat those chips.
Now, click on a direction arrow.
We solve the problem again, and doing this we build a wall around him, and once he's fully contained, you win the game. Well, you win the level.
Yes,
You get a little victory song and dance, and the virus blows up. He looks and sounds pretty sick in the process.
Divide and conquer.
Then you level up to the next stage and do the whole thing over again. If you don't answer the questions quick enough, this is what happens. The virus will start eating unoccupied chips, and if he eats his way towards the edge of the playfield, you lose. It's game over. You don't get a chance to try again. You die. You have to start from level 1. Apart from building walls and trapping viruses, there's a couple of other gameplay elements that can either help or hinder you based on how well you do. The first is duels. Randomly, when you click on a chip, the virus will challenge you to a duel. In the duels, you take part in one of 4 activities, in which you need to beat the virus, or else an egg on the playfield will hatch, and then you'll have 2 viruses to deal with. If there are no eggs on the battlefield, then an extra egg will be placed, but it won't hatch right away. The first activity is a Gorillas or Scorched Earth type little arcadey sort of game, where you have to pick an angle for your little water cannon and shoot the flying virus down out of the sky. You get 3 goes. You only have to hit him once to win, but if you miss 3 times, you lose and have an extra egg or virus to deal with.
We like our eggs scrambled.
In the next activity, you have this weird gumball gambling machine thing to do. You and the virus have a certain number of squares around the edge of the playfield that you have to move across. Little finish flags there to mark out your goal. You need to buy a token from the left with a value of 1 to 5. And you have to put them into the coloured slots on the right. What you're gambling on is that the colour of the slot that you select is going to match the colour of the next ball to fall down. If you win, then you advance by the number of spaces on the token, and if you lose, the virus advances. If you reach the end before the virus does, you win, but if the virus beats you, or all of the coloured balls run out before you get to the end, then you lose.
Oh no, another virus. Duel accepted.
In the third challenge, the virus places itself on a piece of grid plot paper. The game gives you a function, and you have to put in the values so that the resulting curve finds its way through the virus and destroys it. There are a couple of different variations. There's a sine curve, a parabola, a linear, an absolute linear, and a cubic function. Again, you get 3 tries. You only have to hit the virus once, but if you fail, another egg or another virus appears. Finally, there's just a good old hide-and-seek game. The virus hides somewhere on a grid from -3 to 3 on both axes. You hide somewhere, you take turns to try to find each other. There's no hints or anything, so this is really just luck-based. You have to find him before he finds you.
Gotcha.
The other thing you're going to find on the game field are these keys. If you complete a line that goes through one of these keys, you'll get a chance to crack a 6-digit code. Cracking the code instantly wins the level, regardless of how many viruses there are. The code is shown scrambled at the top of the screen. Every time you get a digit right, it adds it to the question mark area at the bottom of the keypad thingy. Once all the question marks have been changed into numbers, the code is cracked and you win. Pretty straightforward. This bit kind of reminds me of that game Mastermind, where one person would set a code with 4 coloured pegs, and then you had to make guesses. And when you got a right peg in the right hole, or the right peg but in a different hole, the other person would tell you, how close you were. Obviously, this game only tells you if you've got the right number in the right spot, but I think you would use a similar approach to solving it.
Yes. Gotcha.
Once you beat the 8th level of either difficulty, you get to put your initials into a high score table, and this was the source of much competition in my primary school days. As a nice touch, they separate the high scores into difficulty and virus speed, so scores earned at the easiest difficulties aren't being compared directly with the scores at the higher difficulties. And this is a good thing, because like I said earlier, the difficulty leap between Ace and Prodigy is huge. The Ace difficulty level, the most complicated thing you might have to solve is a 4-digit multiplication or a cubic root or something along those lines. The Prodigy difficulty level is very advanced though, more advanced in my experience than what a 14-year-old would have been taught. It gets into stuff like calculus, refactoring, and really what I would have thought were senior high school mathematics subjects. It's very, very big leap from Ace to Prodigy. Finally, there's the lab, where you can pick any of the kinds of activities that Matase has on offer and read about them in detail, or answer practice questions without any sort of time pressure. It's good if you're getting stuck on a particular kind of problem. You can just do just those problems until you get better at them, which is a nice touch. You can also practice the challenges through this screen if you feel like you're a bit rusty at those, but Again, some of them are purely luck-based, so the only way you could really get better at them might be to avoid black cats and hold your tongue the right way. So, given that it's been nearly 20 years since I played this game, would I still recommend it? Yeah, absolutely. It's loads of fun. It gets you to work out maths in your head on the fly, and that's a good skill to have. So definitely, if you're looking for a bit of software and don't mind setting up Windows 3.1 in DOSBox or something like that, this maths game would be good for yourself or even for your kids or whatever the case may be. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick look at something from my childhood and maybe given you an idea for something to play next on your retro gaming adventures. Thanks again to everybody that's subscribed. You're all wonderful people. Tell your friends, and I will see you next time.
Yes. Yes way. Yes way.
I subtract you. Divide and conquer.